भैया लीव हो गए, मैं शुरू कर दूं लाइव? वैशाली मैम आप स्टार्ट कर दो।
So, hello everyone. We have today a very special guest with us on our channel, Mr. Versatile. I would like to call him. He is an Asian game holder, the footballer himself, the owner of a football club, journalist, and a roadie. जी हाँ, रंजीत बजाज सर है आज हमारे साथ and हम बहुत excited हैं to welcome him on our channel and we are looking forward to a lot of conversations with him, sir. So, welcome to our channel, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a great pleasure. Thank you so much.
सर हम आपसे बहुत कुछ जानना चाहते हैं वी वुड लाइक टू स्टार्ट विथ योर जर्नी हाउ हैव यू स्टार्टेड योर जर्नी एंड करंटली व्हाट things keep you engaged, so sir please enlighten us on that.
See, it's been a very eventful life, and I am who I am because of who I was in the past. So it all started off when always being interested in sports. In martial arts, I was in Taekwondo and I won a silver medal in the nationals. Then under 19 India, a Santosh Trophy before even 2019, and Durand Cup, everything I played. So even at 34 again, when I made my comeback, I played Santosh Trophy again. After that, in the Durand Cup again. उस टाइम पे Durand Cup qualifiers होते थे, so we had to qualify through 4 different rounds. So did that again, and from there is where I got the sparks. Now in the middle, the life was all about the corporate world and about only running after money and power. And learning from that's the worst thing to do in life, because once you get it, which I did, I got all the money and power in the world, you can only regret it. See, you don't sleep a very happy person. And if money and power actually could give you happiness, then it would be the best way, but it's not. Because looking at my life, and for everyone who wants to know, see, I want to get onto the football part as soon as possible. But for everybody who wants to know about my life, I have Josh Talks available in English also and in Hindi also. So enter my name on Josh Talks and you'll see my entire life story there in front of you. Coming to football, when I played Santosh Trophy again at 34, at that time, the only one club in North India used to be JCT. Okay? And JCT shut down. And because of it shutting down, there was no club in the entire north of India. That gave me a fill up that all the boys here are great, because in every team, even now in that time I League, every team used to have at least 3 or 4 Punjab boys, or Haryana boys, or Chandigarh boys, or Kashmir boys, North Indian boys, and there was nothing, there was no platform for them. So I made sure I set up this club, even though I didn't have any money, but what I had was talent, and talent was abundant. And it's not only when me, you go to any corner of India, you will find talent. They just don't have platforms to perform. So all I did was give them a platform. And I was lucky because we have an Armed Forces Academy, and that was already from 1955. Proud to say that 1 in 4 in the Indian Armed Forces has been a Minervan, and including Sher Shah, Paramveer Chakra, Vikram Batra sir has been a student as well. So these kind of things, that's where the passion for the love for the country comes. Now, then the passion for the game comes that out of all the games, I was even a cricketer. And I was deeply involved with cricket because I was managing one of our senior Indian national cricket team. I was the manager for 21 one-days, 6-7 test matches. So the passion was for cricket as well. But why football was because I played for my country. And once you do that, even till now, with all my other achievements which I've done in my life, my proudest moment is still when I was in the March Past and, we were representing India in that March Past in the Asian School Games. So it was a wonderful experience. Now, I saw that what we needed was, see, football is not rocket science. It's very easy as long as you keep it simple. That's why our coaches keep saying, keep it simple, because that's the way you play the game. Keep it simple. Do not try to think that, you can get there by spending billions of dollars. Agar wo hota, then countries like England and US would have been world champions. People who are the world champions are Brazil. And trust me, compared to the money we have, right now we are on a higher level than Brazil at least. So money is not the factor. And I knew it was all starting at the right age. So the first thing we did before we even had a senior team was have an under 15 team. And in that time, it was unheard of. Now, because of that, some of those boys were so good that we put them in the senior team. And the under 15 team became so good. The very first year we started as a club in 2015-16. By the way, that's how long Minerva's journey is. 15-16. Usse pehle, we used to be a six-a-side club. It wasn't a professional club. So the very first year we played our state championship in Chandigarh, we won. We were state champions. And the very first year we were under 15 national champions. The very first year we got into the second division and we were runners up. At that time, we had teams like Niroka, Mormon Sporting, Dempo, all playing in the Shillong, Lejong, and there's another team from the northeast. They were all playing in the second division. It was a tough second division. Now, because we got that impetus and Dempo went out, we were able to get into the I-League. It was luck that, Dempo withdrew and the champions ki jagah, runners up. Like this year, the same thing with Kenkre. Okay, so we had a chance. The very first year, I made a mistake of listening to all the agents and the people who thought that they knew football because they've been in football for 20 years. So I spent crores and I took loans on my property and spent crores on getting a team. Went to debts of around 3 to 4 crores. The very first year we won the I-League and we came ninth. And all the players who were there, people like Thapa and all, they were great players, but at that time they were very young, okay, and they had a long time to go. Next year, what I did was I didn't take anyone on anyone's recommendation. I believe my own two eyes. So I did research of over 350 to 400 hours, looking at players on Instat, finding the right players, and I found gems. And I found them for 50,000 rupees a month. So like Chencho, like Kiran Limbu, like Opoku, like then the next year, and then Eric Dano, who was centre back, then going to the next year, Kasim Adara. So these guys, when they came, they were on, that's 50,000 rupees a month because nobody ever gave them the chance. And we won the I-League. And that year, I-League had Mohan Bagan, East Bengal, everybody in it. So that was one of the greatest achievements, going to Calcutta that year and beating Mohan Bagan and East Bengal in Calcutta in front of 50,000 people would be one of the biggest moments of our club. So I used to be, okay? I used to be a great Arsenal fan, okay? That's because I was in 98 to 2000, I was in London. And that is the time they were the Invincibles and they were going crazy. So all my classmates used to take up jobs, in McDonald's or some other place. I used to take up a job as a steward in a football club. So I can sit there as security guard, earn money while watching football matches. So I thought, oh my God, this is the perfect life. Now, why I said I was the Arsenal fan was because of what was happening earlier. No, but it was because in 2018, we were ranked in the top 1,000 clubs of the world, Minerva, and we were ranked in the top 100 clubs of Asia. So when and Arsenal was ranked 14th or something. So if I'm in the same ranking as Arsenal, then I'll support my own club and not a foreign club. Simple as that. I said, then we Indians have to start believing and not be fanboys of other clubs. Because if Neeraj Chopra starts doing that or Abhinav Bindra did that, be fans of other people, that's why we don't win gold medals. So we have to believe in ourselves. So I said, okay, fine. My number one team is Minerva and always will be. So the second year and the third year and the fourth year, what we didn't let go of was our junior development program. And because of that, can you believe it? Now we've given more players to India than Tata Football Academy did in 20 years of its existence. And we did it in just 7 years, and 2 years out of that was COVID. We have given, this all ISL teams, barring none, have Minervans in their lineup. The minimum 3 or 4, minimum, except 1 or 2 teams which have just won one. Everybody has a minimum 3 or 4 Minervans in their lineup, and 5 or 6, some of them even. Then the Indian national team has 6 of Minerva products right now, the Indian senior team. So this is just one academy doing this. Now imagine if there were 100 Minervas. When I say not mine, I'm saying every club took it as seriously as me. Look at the pool of players we have. And that is what is the problem which is ailing Indian football, is we are trying to ape the West without having the pyramid structure in place, without having grassroots in place. See, they spend so much of money on the top because their bottom is sorted. And that money then trickles down. What happens here is, हमारा जो pyramid है वो उल्टा है, वो ऐसे है. हमारे सबसे ज्यादा टीम्स कहाँ पे हैं? ISL में 13, उसके बाद 11 आई लीग में, उसके बाद 8 सेकेंड डिवीजन में, उसके बाद थर्ड डिवीजन तो है ही नहीं. So it's basically an opposite pyramid. Now, coming to what's happening these days. So we've had 11 titles, 11 national titles. We are still currently the under 13, under 15, under 18 national champions of India because उसके साथ दोस्त जब हम जीते थे, उसके बाद हुआ ही नहीं कोविड के बाद कोई जूनियर फुटबॉल. उस साल we are the only club in Indian football history to own all titles together. So we were the senior I League champions, under 13, under 15, and under 18 champions. That was our domination. So why did I then sell the club? So I didn't sell the property or the academy or Minerva. I sold Punjab FC, which was a right to take part in the I League, along with the players which I had, like great players like Dikash Yumnam and Mason and all these boys who are now playing for Hourglass. Now, the reason was because I came to know that even if you are the best team in the country now, I can't go and represent India in AFC. What's the point? But if I get relegated, if I come last, then I'm thrown down to the third division. So if I come on top, I can't go on. But no, I can go on if I pay 18 crore rupees to a private company. So instead of that, sell the right to somebody else and prove to the world again that by promotion and relegation, you can get there again like this, as long as you have a conveyor belt of players, which I do. So within a year, Delhi FC is one of the most known teams in the country, more than some of the I-League teams. Why? Because I have currently 2 players from me on loan to the ISL. So Anwar is on loan to FC Goa and Himanshu just went to East Bengal. And they are on loan. I'm talking about the players who've been produced. For example, maximum hate I get is from Kerala Blaster fans. Okay. But Jackson is mine. Chencho was discovered by me. Gibson is mine. Harmipom is mine. So imagine you go to Odisha, the same thing from Toiba to Kamalpreet to Kamaljeet. Then you go to Mohan Bagan, and then you go to Bangalore FC with Sandesh Jingan. See, all these players, each team has them. So I can never hate ISL because they have given opportunities to boys, and the way of at least the glamour is there for them. People want to see football. But no matter, I'm giving you an option, okay? You have got Man City versus Liverpool happening here. No matter what team you happening here in India, you know what a football purist will see. And you can't blame them. So when will Indians actually start playing, wanting to see football? When we get as good as the world. When we are world beaters. Indians don't like to support third class people. How did Indians started supporting cricket? Because 83 hua. 1983 na hota, so cricket wouldn't have been this big in the country. Simple as that. It's just simple. And that also happened because, and we were 1:66 to win that World Cup there. So it's not that we were favorites then to win it. We were the least favorite to win it. And we were able to do that. So it's not that this can't happen. This can happen. But the chances of us now doing it and getting to the World Cup are very slim because it's not in cricket. You have only 10 countries. You need to beat 1 or 2 and you're there. Here, you need to beat a lot of countries if you want to get anywhere near the World Cup. Okay, so why I've been fighting this battle? See, it's very simple. Unless you have promotion and relegation and sporting merit, there is no sport. So if you say the only people who can play the sport are the richest people, that means you're following the model of the European Super League, which was just going to happen and it was banned when all the clubs were trying to get together. So at that time, FIFA said that it is against our statutes. AFC, everybody said that. Statutes means the rules they follow. So statutes were that promotion and relegation has to be there. Sporting merit has to be there. Now that statute they've forgotten about in India for some reason. And we've been promised promotion and relegation. And when you say club shutdown, why? Because if you tell a club the only way you can get up is if you pay 18 crores a year, and will you still make money? No. Even if you're the biggest club in India, you still lose money. So how is that viable? Now, that's not viable because our broadcaster owns the league. So understand, problem is not here with Ambani. The problem is here with the broadcaster. Why? Because if 90% of revenues in all leagues from clubs are earned by broadcast revenue. And in India, you don't have it. So will IPL ever happen in football in India? No. Why? Because Star Sports is the same company which paid 50,000 crores for those rights. Now, if 20 years ago I would have told you the Star Sports will do that, you would have laughed at me. Why? Because there was no chance. But it happened. The same way in football, it will happen if there is an open auction. But if the broadcaster owns the league, then all the money which will be earned by the broadcaster and the company, not by Indian football. So in IPL, all the money which is earned has to be pumped back into Indian cricket. That is why nobody asks now, where is the next Sunil Chetri? Sorry, next Tendulkar. In football, Chetri's question is being asked, where's the next Chetri? Because there's no money coming down to the grassroots and no new players are being produced. That's it. It's as simple as that. Now, why is FIFA fighting so hard? For example, in a teachers' association, you don't find lawyers. In a lawyers' association, you don't find doctors. In doctors' association, you don't find IS officers. But in a footballers' association, you have no footballers. How is that okay even for FIFA? Now, FIFA in the last letter said, okay, you can have, look at the way they manipulate. You can have 25%. And next letter they said you can't have any. So you can have 25% or zero, and from 50 they are negotiating. That means it's not statues now which are mattering. That means they can allow. So why don't they want? Because states will lose their voting rights. That means 50-50 ho jayega. Now look at the big conundrum here. Why do you think the states want that? States don't want players to come in because they will have to now in the new constitution give audits every year, financial reports. They will have to conduct the senior and junior boys and girls leagues. They will have to send their state team for every national competition. And if they don't do that, they're out. Imagine the kind of control that will happen. Now, states say, no, we are not even under the control of AIFF. So 36 states have 36 different constitutions. Because apparently, sports is a state subject. But sports is a state subject. Matlab the national body can't control a state body. But the international body should control the Indian body. Now, that international body, FIFA, is under the High Court. It's under statutes that we can take orders from only CAS or from the Lausanne High Courts. Lausanne is a city in Switzerland and the High Court is the High Court of Switzerland. So High Courts of Switzerland are over FIFA and FIFA is over our Supreme Court. So how is it that when the Supreme Court has intervened when FIFA didn't do his job? Because in 2020, Praful Patel's election ended. Normally what they do is they put a normalization committee and they have elections. They waited for 2 years for FIFA to step in. Nobody came. And what did the court do? Say have elections. That's all they said. And what did they say? That the people who have been there for over 20, 30 years, so let me say, give you stats. Out of the 36 states, 28 states have general secretaries or presidents who've been there for more than 25 years. Why do you think the football in India is screwed? Because in a state like UP, which is bigger than the population of US, there is no football. And are there clubs? Yes, there are thousands of clubs. Are there players? There are lakhs of players. They want an opportunity there, but there are no leagues. Then they say UP doesn't produce footballers because you don't give them the chance. The same thing in Tamil Nadu. Now you can't say there's no football in Tamil Nadu. There's an ISL and I-League team from Tamil Nadu, Chennai and Chennai. But there's no football in Tamil Nadu. Why? Because of the fight between two associations. So they rather not have football for 12 years than give up power. So now why is FIFA supporting Praful Patel? So see, this is a very big vicious cycle. In 2008, Praful Patel became the president of AIFF. And in 2008, somewhere nearby, also became Civil Aviation Minister of India. Now, in the AFC, the president of AFC was Sheikh Salman. Sheikh Salman is the ruler of Saudi Arabia or UAE or Dubai, one of the places, whatever. And one vice president was the ruler of Qatar. One vice president was the ruler of the other country, Kuwait. So what happened? All Air India spots within a year disappeared, international routes, and they were given to these Middle Eastern countries. I'm not saying it. Google whatever I say, please Google it, okay? It is all on record. So we lost all out space, and Air India went into a deep dive because the most profitable routes of Indian carriers, even now, are the Middle Eastern routes. We lost that out. And what happened to Praful Patel? He became a vice president of AFC. Now let's move on. The Qatar World Cup, again, FIFA files. Qatar World Cup was sold. Sold to the highest bidder, मतलब उन शेख्स ने पैसे दिए और इन सब ने जितने भी अफ्रीकन्स और किसने फिक्स किया अफ्रीकन्स और एशियंस ने ये हमारी पुरानी आते हैं हम दोनों कॉन्टिनेंट्स की करप्शन तो हमारे यहाँ पे है ही सो हमारा इंडियन सेक्रेटरी जो था उसने फीफा फाइल्स में मैं नहीं बोल रहा $30,000 लिए टू वोट फॉर कतार बांग्लादेश के प्रेसिडेंट टुक 1 मिलियन ये तो कहा था इसको बांग्लादेश का प्रेसिडेंट 1 मिलियन ले रहा है करप्शन तो ठीक तरह कर ले साले औकात तो दिखा ले अपनी He took $30,000. Bangladesh guy, who's right now currently has become the president again this year of Bangladesh again. He took $1 million. ऐसे करके Praful Patel organized 16 votes for Qatar and 8 votes for Sheikh Salman in the elections. Now 2024, the elections are happening again. FIFA. Who do you think FIFA wants as the head here? Somebody who can give them 16 votes so that they can take power again, or maybe a new guy who's totally honest and maybe will support the opposition of FIFA's president, whoever he is now. So I'll tell you how. See, you can't tell the country that your own states cannot follow AFF's rules, but AFF has to follow FIFA's rules. That's stupid. Then you can't say that they say statues. So then statues then all have to be compulsory. How can you say sporting merit and promotion and relegation not compulsory? But oh my God, age tenure compulsory. That means you can be president of AFF even for 85 or 90 or 95. So see the things which were being brought in and what was being objected. Now, they had this bargaining chip of the Under-17 World Cup and they knew it. They knew that they had this on us. And obviously, once our Prime Minister has given the sovereign guarantee, it's a matter of shame for us. See, understand, getting the Under-17 World Cup here may be a great thing, but FIFA knows that if the World Cup doesn't happen here and they don't grow the game here, India is the only market which is left untapped for FIFA. In 10 years, e-games, football e-games, will have 10 times more revenue than the actual football games. Again, research. Which is the biggest market for esports in the world? India. Now, do we have power to even sponsor the World Cup? Yes, one of the main sponsors is Bajaj. The third largest ticket sales of the World Cup, Indians. Maximum tickets किसने ली? कतार ने, Indians ने. So they know कि अगर हम इनको कंट्रोल में ना रखें तो हमारी बहुत बड़ी मार्केट छूट जाएगी. अगर इन्होंने करप्शन खत्म कर दी तो हम तो गए. So if you actually look at it, FIFA is one of the most corrupt bodies in the whole world. And again, I'm not saying it. Google it. You'll find thousands of cases which have happened on FIFA. And you can go to all the other nations also, from referees taking money or bribes, or these sexual harassment cases happening, rapes happening, and presidents of federations doing it in Africa. These are all on record. And by the way, in the 2018 World Cup, just before the World Cup, Spain में same चीज हुई थी जो इंडिया में हुई है. President को हटा दिया, government ने वो कर दिया. FIFA said we'll take the World Cup away from you. Spain said try doing it, fuck off. Could they do it? No. Do you think ICC can ever take the World Cup away from India in cricket? No. So unless, and why? Because BCCI stands up for itself. BCCI made sure, no matter whatever there was, that at least system is there. Now the constitution of BCCI is so good that each district also gets around 4 to 5 crores a year. Each district. Even if you play, forget about country, you play for your state, under 19 cricket, you can take care of your family. The money is actually being distributed. Now tomorrow ISL becomes big. Great. They earn 1 lakh crore. Great. Who's going to get it? Ambani. He's not going to pump it back into Indian cricket, Indian football. BCCI has to. Why? Because national body. Now see the other side, flip side of it. When India is playing, why is the ranking? See, with so much happening, why is the ranking not going up? Because you tie the hands of the coach behind his back. You can get, like Igor Stimac said, you can get Jose Mourinho or Alex Ferguson. Still, the results will be the same. In fact, I think results will be worse because they will just not care. They will just walk away. They can't take this shit. Why? You give a coach, say that, listen, I'm going to give you 10 superstars of the country, but they will come to you one day before the match starts. Now, why is that happening? Because IPL is starting. So we can't give you any breaks in the middle for your FIFA windows. And where do we get our points? From those windows? And if you give them no time to practice, what do you think is going to happen against Vietnam or Singapore? See, this ban will be taken care of by tomorrow. Okay? Because they will agree to this, Union Ministry has got in. But I'm worried about the future. If you don't give gaps to my national team to practice, now that is why a private body should never be in charge of a federation. Because they are caring about their own rights. They're कि हमारा cricket आना है. That's what Star Sports is thinking. कि हमारा cricket आना है, इसीलिए इनको window नहीं देनी. Now, if suppose the National Federation was making the calendar, and I was the president, I would have seen, okay, FIFA window. I would have started from there. Because that's my first priority, not the leagues. So I would have said, okay, FIFA window यहाँ पे, इससे 45 दिन पहले कोई league नहीं होनी चाहिए. All the players which I wanted should be given to the coach. Then the coach doesn't do well, then you fire him. Everybody is blaming Igor Stimac, but not giving him practice. Now, one time in his entire 2 years, you gave him practice time once for 45 days क्योंकि उस time पे by chance ना ISL चल नहीं रहा था in the Asian Cup qualifiers. 45 days. Look at the way we were playing, man. We were playing such beautiful football. We were actually playing football. See, you have to understand the national team has to come first. The nation has to come first. But when it's a corporate, the corporate's number one thing is that they are responsible to their shareholders. If they do not give them profits, the shareholders can screw with them. And if you give a break of 45 days, it will spoil the entire season for them and they'll have to show the matches during the IPL. And that they can't afford. That is why why do you think our windows are not getting longer? Why are we not getting a longer league? Why are they not adding more teams? Because every team you add, you play 30 more matches. So if you add 5 more, 6 more teams, the season is doubled. And that can never happen in India till 2040 if this constitution stays, because it's going to stay with them, with Star Sports and with FSDL. Their master plan which was released, उन्होंने खुद जो दिया है, उसमें कहते हैं कि we will have 16 teams. After 6 years, मतलब we'll add one team. 16 टीमें total है उनकी. 16 टीमों का मतलब है 30 matches a year. Plus you add the cups, you'll add what, 5, 7, 8 matches more. That is what they play in half a season. All the good countries play 55 to 60 matches. And if you add the good teams who are playing Champions League and Europa League and Conference League and those, they play 70 matches a year. That is why the strikers are getting 55, 60 goals a year, because they're playing 65, 70, 80 matches. And we play 50% of their matches. How can we ever get anywhere near them? And when I say we, I'm talking about Iran, I'm talking about Japan, I'm talking about Korea, I'm not even talking about Germany and Spain. Then, how do we do it? So Vietnam did it. All they did was have a center of excellence where they spent all their money. They selected boys at the age of 6, 7, 8, 9, put them there. 2010 se shuru ki hai. And mark my words, and you can mark it today, the date, and put it on. See, when I'm saying it, that means people will repeat it. If I get it wrong, people will repeat it in memes. We'll get thrashed by Vietnam. No matter what you do, no matter who you bring in. Why? If the calendar stays the same. Same matlab, they are giving 7 days camp. Now 7 days camp का मतलब समझो क्या होता है. जिस दिन आप आए, उसके अगले दिन लाइट ट्रेनिंग होती है और टेस्ट होते हैं आपके कि आप किस लेवल पे हो. उसके अगले दिन suppose you want to have one practice match, which obviously you want to have one practice match at least. Then you start preparing for that match by finishing and shooting drills or with combination plays or with set piece practices, defending set pieces, attacking set pieces. Next day you give again the same thing and then match, and the next day's recovery, and then you do analysis, and then the 7 days are over. And then you go and play these teams, and then you expect to win. And what have they done? So why did we do so badly against Sri Lanka? 205. Ranking is 205. They are 194 members in the UN. And Sri Lanka's ranking is 205. Okay. Now, who... Aniket is laughing. Okay. So who is 100 rankings above India? That would be Germany, Spain, Holland, these kind of countries. So imagine India drawing with Germany or Spain or Holland. We can't even think of it in our wildest dreams. और अगर ये हो जाता, उस कंट्री में रायट्स हो जाते. यहाँ पे हमने श्रीलंका से ड्रॉ किया, किसी ने बात तक नहीं की. 6-0 आके यूएई हमें हरा जाता है. यूएई की पॉपुलेशन मतलब नॉट टोटल, जो खेल सकते हैं उस कंट्री के लिए, एमिराटीज, द वंस हु लिव देयर, born and brought up, is 13 lakhs. Chandigarh's population is 18 lakh. So, forget that. Iceland is 3 lakhs. ये मेरा फेमस डायलॉग है, 3 लाख हमारे दिवाली के मेले पे होते हैं. Then see what we did until 60s and 70s. 60s and 70s means when we were doing very well in hockey also. Okay. 64 में we were fourth in the Olympics, and trust me, if we had gone to the World Cup in 1950 when we had a chance, we would have done really, really well. We were actually that good. It's not that more countries were not playing. In 1970s, we lost because of a missed penalty as well, and we into France 2-1, and we were doing that well with all European countries. Then what happened? Then the grounds became spectacular there. Our ground stayed the same. Our infrastructure stayed the same. The number of coaches actually decreased. The number of coaches we have in India, so Japan has more goalkeeping coaches than the total number of coaches in India. All A, B, C, D, Pro, sare milakar. They have more goalkeeping coaches than us. And somebody happy is saying the population of the finalists of FIFA, Croatia is 50 lakhs. Yeah. So population is not what matters. You have only 11 versus 11. It's not 1.4 billion playing. So it's 11 versus 11. You mean to say you can't find 11? There is already a Messi and Ronaldo in India. And there has been for the last 30 years. It's just that they have not found it. And that guy probably has become India's best captain in cricket, Dhoni, or best tennis player, Leander Paes. They were both footballers and they left the game. So you mean to say all the other ones, they just leave, man? Because they see कि यार यहाँ पे तो मैं अंडर 19 खेलूंगा तो मेरी लाइफ बन गई, यहाँ पे मैं मराई जाऊंगा और उसके बाद क्या होएगा, वो अपने चाचे मम्मे ताए को खिला देगा या किसी से 5 लाख रुपए के लेके खिला देगा. So all the states, the only thing they do is always send Santosh Trophy teams because that's where they make the money. They take money from people and they make them play Santosh Trophy. So that's what one thing they'll never miss out on. Or all the nationals. उसके बाप से पैसे लेके, इसके बाप से पैसे लेके खिला लिए. They don't care about results. So our pool has actually grown. Our pool of players is actually 50. Why? Okay, look at the thing. Why? Because there are 13 ISL teams. The number of Indians which get regular game time, that means 90 minutes a match, are not more than 4 or 5 in one team. Indians. Because बाकी तो, I'm talking about 90 minutes जिसको किसको मिलता है. बाकी तो फॉरनर होते हैं इनके. So 5 का मतलब into 13 is around 65 players. उसमें से वो 50 को कैंप पे, 35 को कैंप पे बुला लेते हैं 1 in 2. उसमें से टीम सेलेक्ट होती है. और हमारे प्लेयर्स अच्छे हैं. हाँ, कहाँ? आई लीग में, कहाँ? सेकंड डिवीजन में, संतोष ट्रॉफी में. नहीं वो तो उनको तो खेलना ही नहीं आता. ड्यूरैंड का टीवी ऑन करके देख लो क्या हो रहा है हर रोज वहां पे. देखो क्या हो रहा है. हमारी आर्मी, नेवी, एयरफोर्स टीम्स आर बीटिंग ISL टीम्स. आई एम नॉट इवन टॉकिंग अबाउट आई लीग टीम्स बिकॉज आवर पूल इज सो बिग. But our national coach can only select people from a private tournament. And the only way you can get into the tournament is not by merit, but is by if you have 18 crores a year to give Mr. Ambani. Simple. So the point is about how do you grow? For example, Vichar on point, very good point by the way, Vichar, about Rajasthan today beating ATK, Mohan Bagan. And ATK Mohan Bagan, the biggest victory I had in my life was against Mohan Bagan when we beat them in Calcutta. So proud of these boys in Rajasthan for what they've done. It's just shown that what hunger and the passion can do. Total salary bill of Rajasthan United, the entire team will be equal to one player of Mohan Bagan. Unka koi one foreigner. That's what was with me. When I won the I-League, my total budget was 1.4 crores and Sunny Node was getting 3.8 crores from Mohan Bagan. So money will never win you football matches, okay? You've got to understand, you got to start from a very young age. What did we do? So we knew that, okay, we had something special. And all we did was, academy cannot be 1 month before the matches. It's not a senior team, okay? That you can call the team 2 months before, train and play them. No. The academies have to run throughout the year without a break. We are the only ones in the country which run 365 days a year. All my under 17s, 15s, 18s, 13s get at least 80 matches to play. That is why I have teams all over. And my boys play all over. Why? Because they need game time. And what is happening in the ISL? Our best players are on the bench. People, okay, the three boys who did really well was Dheeraj, Anwar Ali, and Komal Thatkar in the World Cup under 17. Look at Dheeraj and Komal Thatkar because bench. Look at Anwar Ali. Even though I played him in just second division, third division, Durand Cup, this Himachal League, Delhi League, Punjab League, look at him. Look at him just make his way back into the team. Game time. And you're killing players. ISL is killing players daily because they've got so much of money. They'd rather have people on the bench and keep them so the other team can't get them. What Chelsea is doing, Man City is doing, all these clubs are doing. So it's a very sad situation. I know. See, understand the World Cup, under 17 World Cup, which is going to be the girls, is going to happen because the government is interested in it. In fact, the COA also, told them that whatever you want to do, man. We'll get the constitution right later. But if the Supreme Court now tomorrow says, okay, what is going to happen is that in hockey, Narendra Batra will come back. In cricket, the same people will come back. In all other sports, all the changes which have been made will be screwed because of football. The sport we are not doing well in will screw up all other sports because the worst shitty people are there in this sport who are running this, because for the last 30 years, the only thing which has happened in India is corruption in football. 20 years, 25 years. So I can basically go on a rant and tell you each and everything for the next 3 hours and I will not stop talking. Okay? But now you can open me to questions. That was my talk.
Sir, we can truly see and feel the voice, the anger in your voice, the patriotism, the way you are speaking. We can only feel it because you have actually gone through it. So we can only understand from outside that how difficult is it even for you to handle it. So wanted to know, like as a player, how does it take a toll on their health, and what is the future lies in front of them for football as well as them as an individuals. So what do you think about it?
See, I was talking to Praveen yesterday. Praveen is the owner of Gokulam. And he was telling me how sad those girls are coming back from there. And I'm getting goosebumps right while I'm talking about it. Because what was their fault? What had they done wrong? In fact, they did very well. They were champions of India, and trust me, the team was so good this time, they were going to make us so proud. But what happened? Praful Patel went there to FIFA and got that letter sent and got us banned. And when I say, how do you know it's Praful Patel? Because I've released an audio where he's talking to the states, where he's telling the states, I'm the one who's got the letter sent. So again, I'm not saying it. Praful Patel said it himself, and that audio is released. जिसकी वजह से इस पे contempt of court आया and वो कल सुना जाएगा, maybe not. So if this was happening and still nothing was happening, I would have been really sad. But for players, one thing I'm very happy, no matter what, at least football has been brought to the front pages of the country. At least नेशनल मीडिया पे अर्नब पे डिबेट्स हो रही है, अर्नब गोस्वामी पे डिबेट्स हो रही है फुटबॉल के बारे में, टाइम्स नाउ पे हो रही है, एनडीटीवी पे हो रही है. सो दैट मीन्स दिस जनरेशन केयर्स and it's a generational shift, by the way. Our parents, when I'm talking about you are my next generation, so my parents, at that generation, 90% cricketers, only probably 5% people follow football, 5% other sports. Then my generation, it became kind of 60-40. 60% cricket, 40% football. Why? Because we started following European clubs and we started doing this, and TV came to us for the 90s and 2000s. Your generation, 90% follow football more than cricket. Why? Because you kids these days would rather be seen with a Ibrahimovic or a Messi or a Ronaldo shirt going out for shopping than with a Dhoni shirt. Look at what Soumya is
Very,
wearing.
very well said, sir. And I can totally, actually, I can
Yes.
only project how much of a positive person you are, because you are seeing this as a silver lining in the dark cloud. I can say that you are seeing that, okay, now football is on the front pages. So I can only
Yes.
project how much of a positive person you are. And
You have
here
to be.
in the darkest time, you are seeing blessing in the disguise. So that's heads
Vaishali,
off
देखो,
to that point.
Vaishali, see, hope is what we live for. When there's no hope, there's no life. If you stop hoping, that's where we die. When there's no hope, there's no life, okay? But you can't just hope, okay? You have to do something for it. So what did I do? So I said, okay, fine, I'll fight these guys on the side, which I've been doing, and I'll keep doing it. And why do you think they made me, I didn't become, AIFF made me the most famous man in football in India by banning me 5 times and fining me 50 lakhs. Why? Because I used to keep on talking. And see, I was proved right. Within 20 minutes of me getting into AIFF, we found out corruption from astrologers, hiring astrologers for the Indian national team, then doing biryani scams and all that, and that unfortunate Alex Ambrose incident, which was happening since 2017-19, but just brushed. So all these things just came out like this immediately. That's how corrupt they were, and that's why they're so worried right now. That if this COA or a new body comes in right now, what kind of other corruption they will find which they've been doing for 20 years? It will be huge. So what did I do? So I said, okay, fine, forget them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have my own World Cup batch. Screw AIFF. I will get India to the World Cup. Unless you think like that, you can't, man. Okay. So if Vietnam can do it with one little academy, so can Ranjit Bajaj. So what do? The same thing. We start boys and we get these boys at the age of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from all over India. And it'll cost me 2.5 crores, but that means I can't play I-League. Okay. Because I don't have the money either there or here. So I said, okay, this is my FD. FD मतलब मेरा फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट है. ये मुझे 15 साल के बाद जाके पैसे देगा. या 15 साल के बाद जाके क्यों इंडिया वर्ल्ड कप पहुंचेगा. सी 15 साल मतलब started 3 years ago. This year took them to Dubai for the first international competition they've ever played. Under 12, okay, little kids. And we had teams with the best academies in Dubai and from Africa and from Europe and even
Man City and Barcelona.
Yeah, we thrashed Barcelona 5-0. We drew with Man City and we won that tournament. So our under 12s were able to do that. Why? Because for 3 years, for the first time, Indians were trained together. See, guys, Indians are the world's best in everything. You can't say, okay, Indians can now have gold medals in javelin and have medals in gold in Asian and Commonwealth and Olympics in boxing, in wrestling, in weightlifting, in hockey. But we can't do it in football. That excuse doesn't stand anymore. पहले होता था बात, अब नहीं है वो बात. We are as good as anyone in the world. But there have to be people working towards that. So Neeraj Chopra just didn't come. He was given support, given the infrastructure, given the training. The same way Abhinav Bindra had a good upbringing and he was well off, so he could afford that himself. You can ask Neeraj Chopra, if you say that, okay, in the last 2 years, if you were not sent for all these foreign trips and this and that, would you have won it? He would have said, no, I wouldn't have won it. So you think you will not support these boys and they will not make it? They will make it. So my aim is in 2034 we don't get to the World Cup, we get there with a bang, and by 2034 to 38 or 42 we win it. There are only 8 countries who have won the World Cup yet. Only 8. We're going to be the 9th.
Sir, my question.
उम्मीद पे दुनिया कायम है and yeah, I will hand over to Soumya for his question. So you can go ahead.
सर मेरा आपसे ये क्वेश्चन था कि आपको क्या लगता है, मतलब हम आगे जाके इस पे AIFF में अच्छी कमेटी बन पाएगी क्या, जो ये करप्शन वगैरह हटा पाएगी, और हमको ये करप्शन वगैरह हटाने में कितना टाइम लग जाएगा AIFF से, जो फिलहाल करप्शन है AIFF में?
I didn't stand for elections because what happens in AIFF is कि अगर चल तू बन जाएगा, तेरे को मैं वोट दूंगा, तू मुझे ट्रेजरर बना देना, और तू इसको एग्जीक्यूटिव कमेटी में डाल देना, और तू इसको टेक्निकल कमेटी का हेड लगा देना, हम तेरे को इतनी वोट्स दे देंगे. That means I owe them something, and I can never do that because they expect things back. Now, there are a few states in India which are doing very well. The states are doing well. For example, Karnataka, doing very well. Tete in Mizoram, exceptional. But that's it. That's about it. There's no other state. Now, corruption will only go away when the constitution is changed. जो हमने नई कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डाली है ना, and by the way it was made by not only me but Bhaskar Da and the great Novi Kapadia sir. He was part of the entire constitution. In that, all states have to have people who are democratically elected. You cannot have clubs given by your relatives. You cannot have your sons and tayas and chachas working in the same organization. You cannot have conflicts of interest at every mode. For example, हमारा जो लास्ट सीनियर वाइस प्रेसिडेंट था, उसकी जो बेटी है इस टाइम पे साइकोलॉजिस्ट है फॉर द अंडर 17 वर्ल्ड कप टीम, और वो सेम सीनियर वाइस प्रेसिडेंट इज डायरेक्टर इन अ कंपनी हु इज डूइंग द मास्टर मीडिया प्रोग्राम, जिसके लिए वो 35 लाख रुपए ले रहे हैं और देख कुछ नहीं रहे हैं आगे से. सो द काइंड ऑफ करप्शन विच इज हैपनिंग इवन नाउ इज जस्ट माइंड ब्लोइंग. बट फॉर एग्जाम्पल कोविड टेस्ट के लिए अभी हुआ था जब एशियन गेम्स, they charge the teams, foreign teams, 3,500 rupees for one COVID test. So that each team was paying around 20 lakh rupees to AIFF for COVID tests, which they were arranging. So AIFF was not getting the money. So there was just somebody who they had put, and that guy was arranging, and he was making all the money. And obviously the money was going somewhere else. So this was happening in every section. That is why the new constitution says that you have to have audits. You cannot have people above 70. You cannot have people who've been there for more than 12 years. You have to have players inside. So how can you expect players to be more honest than them? No, we don't expect players to be more honest. But what happens is, I'll give you the difference. Difference is, if the guy has spent all his life and he's known only because of football, I'm a legend, suppose, of football, like a Bhutia. My entire name, what I've earned in 30 years, can be spoiled by one case of corruption. Do you think he'll do it? And if he does it, then his legend status is gone. Everybody साले बोलेंगे साला चोर है. और अगर तुम कुशाल दास को बोलोगे ये, he doesn't mind. He was there for that. वो आया ही सिर्फ चोरी के लिए था. और all these other people, जिन्होंने कभी जिंदगी में ना फुटबॉल देखा है, या खेला है, या एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर किया है, कुछ नहीं किया. कहां से आया? कहीं और से कंपनी से आके लगा दिया. क्या काम है? चलो मेरे को यहाँ हैंडबॉल में नहीं मिली, बास्केटबॉल नहीं मिली, चाहे फुटबॉल में दिला दो. सो दे डोंट केयर. एंड एज लॉन्ग एज यू डोंट हैव पीपल हु केयर मतलब जो प्रेसिडेंट होना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से ऐसा होना चाहिए जिसका कोई और काम ही नहीं होना चाहिए. डोंट यू थिंक इट्स अ बिग इनफ जॉब टू बी प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ AIFF that you take it in the last thing in your fucking bio and you say I can only spare 20 minutes a week for football? The top person should be eating, breathing, sleeping football. And अगर हम 6-0 हारे तो उस दिन रात को नींद नहीं आनी चाहिए साले को. दर्द होनी चाहिए. जब तक हमारे एसोसिएशन में ऐसे बंदे ना आए who are so nationalistic and patriotic कि उनको दर्द होए every time India loses, we will not improve. And that is why we were trying to get players in, because they feel for the country. That is the only difference.
सर मेरा आपसे एक और क्वेश्चन ये है कि आपको क्या लगता है आई लीग ज्यादा बड़ी लीग होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि जैसे हमको पता है प्रमोशन और रेलीगेशन वाला सिस्टम लाने की बात कर रहे, तो आई लीग या ISL कौन सी ज्यादा?
नो. See, कोई बड़ी लीग नहीं होनी चाहिए. एक लीग होनी चाहिए. No ISL, no I League. One league with 20 teams. Then second division with 20 teams. Then third division with 20 teams. There should be no one ISL versus I League, man. हम same country वाले हैं, same countrymen हैं हम. हमारे बीच में वो divide and rule कर रहे हैं यार. Can't you see? अच्छा आप कहते हो नहीं नहीं divide and rule तो ब्रिटिश करते थे. वो गोरे हैं. क्यों गोरे हैं? Because can you imagine? They have a rule which said till last year that Indians cannot be head coaches of ISL teams. ये इनका रूल था. So you're being racist towards Indians in India. हाँ, फिर उसके बाद वो प्रो लाइसेंस का रूल डाला and then Khalid Jamil came in because वो चला गया था, गलती से आ गया and he did so well that they had to appoint him because he didn't do so well. पहली बार किसी इंडियन को मौका दिया तुमने यार. So you have to understand there has to be one league because we need 38 matches a year in the league itself because 19 teams into 238. Plus we need at least 5 competitions where you can play at least 15 more matches. We need 55 matches a year, minimum. We need a league which lasts for at least 8 months a year or 7 months a year, not 2 months. So for that, I-League and ISL, वो main argument थी कि I-League के ना clubs इतने strong नहीं है. चलो यार तुम कहते हो नहीं है strong. But Germany और Spain और England में भी तो जो top teams है, bottom teams को 5-0 हराती है ना. इसका मतलब ये तो नहीं उनको मौका ही नहीं देते हो, बट किसी दिन वो भी हरा देती हैं, लाइक लेस्टर सिटी. सो द ड्रीम ऑफ लेस्टर कैन नेवर हैपन हियर. सी द ड्रीम ऑफ व्हाट मिनर्वा डिड, चेन्नई डिड, आइसबॉल डिड. दे आर ड्रीम स्टोरीज दैट कैन नेवर हैपन हियर इन इंडियन फुटबॉल एनीमोर because there is no small team now. They are all big teams because all of them are owned by billionaires. There's no problem in that as long as you let the smaller guys come in because they are good enough. Why? Because we've proven it to you on the field. So forget this Durand Cup. You look at Minerva's record with all ISL teams. We have won and drawn more matches than we've lost in all ISL matches. Friendlies, Durand Cup, this cup, that cup, all cups. Even with my new team, Delhi FC, last year we reached the quarterfinals. And in my group, there was Indian Navy, Bangalore, Kerala Blaster. Okay? And we beat all of them. We got through all of them and reached the quarterfinals. So it's not about 11, it's understand it's always 11v11. And when I know it's in the 11v11, end of the day it's 1v1 because that's how you take on players. You always take them on 1v1. Trust me, our Indians are so good that it's not just 30 Indians who are good in a 1.4 billion. All the first 100 or 200 Indians top level, difference is just 19-20. There's only one Sunil Chetri, na? That's why.
हेलो सर, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है कि ये जो चीजें चल रही हैं इसमें हम देख रहे हैं कि मतलब फैंस हैं, उनके इमोशंस कुछ है. हमने मतलब आपको तो मतलब काफी टाइम से देख रहे हैं, लेकिन सर खिलाड़ी जो अभी हमने हमारी वुमेन्स टीम हमारी वहां से वापस आई, लेकिन सर अगर आपसे मैं पूछूं कि हमारे जो खिलाड़ी अभी उन पे क्या बीत रहा होगा और आप उनको क्या मैसेज देना चाहोगे कि वो जो फील कर रहे हैं वो ना करें, तो आप उनको क्या मैसेज देना चाहोगे खिलाड़ियों को हमारे?
See, I would say to the players कि ये बैटल जो मैं लड़ रहा था ये तुम्हारे लिए लड़ रहा था मैं. बिकॉज हम क्या देखते हैं कि जैसे ही प्लेयर का करियर खत्म होता है उसके बाद उसकी जिंदगी खत्म हो जाती है. They're not even asked, they're not even given respect by their own associations. और ये जो गेम है किसकी है? प्लेयर्स की है. So players have to be part of it in some way or the other. If you don't give players the rights, मैं अपने armed forces में समझाता हूँ इनको ये. Thanks Ankit, I know. To my future officers, कि your country will only give you new armed forces officers when they see how the ones who are the old armed forces officers, that means the ones who retired, are treated. Now, as a young kid, if I see ये फुटबॉलर था, साला रोड पे बैठा हुआ है, इंडिया के लिए 35 इंटरनेशनल खेले थे, और ये देखो क्रिकेटर है, ये अपने स्टेट के लिए 4 रणजी मैच खेला है, इसको 2 लाख रुपए मिलते हैं महीने के, और ये रोड पे बैठा हुआ है. Who will want to join football again? So this was the battle for you, so that you get your rights, which you have earned and you deserve. Now, whatever way we get it in, either it's voting rights or powers or being in the committee, at least it's a start. At least you people have a voice. पहले तो हमारी आवाज ही नहीं थी as players. And you have to stand up for your rights, like Baichung is doing now very openly. He's saying all the right things, saying that हमारे players को ये मौका मिलना चाहिए. I'm grateful to the CEO of the Supreme Court that we've got this chance. What is the reason for not wanting players inside? I don't understand. Understand has to be very sinister. So I think, guys, the future of our country's football has to only be good. Why? Because it can't get worse than this. Okay? There's no way down. It can only get better. Now, how much better it gets, it all depends on the kind of people we have at the top. But even in spite of having this shake-up, now they know that there are people who are willing like me to speak up openly. And it will be very difficult for people to keep on doing what they were doing earlier, because if they do that, the first person to come out on the road will be me. Because the whole battle will not be for nothing. And even if it means one day taking FIFA to CAS, it will be done. Why not? People thought Praful Patel nobody can remove. It's been done. People thought Kushal Das nobody can remove. It's been done. See, if you are going to be corrupt with your own country, you don't deserve to be there. Simple as that. If you cannot be honest to your own. I mean, this is the biggest honor you can get. I'm talking to Praful Patel about this. This is the biggest honor. इंडिया ने तुम्हारे को भेजा है, प्रेसिडेंट बने थे, इसीलिए तुम्हारे को नॉमिनेट किया गवर्निंग काउंसिल में फीफा के, और तुम वहां जाके यूनानिमस वोट दे रहे हो. यूनानिमस का मतलब है कि किसी ने अपोज नहीं किया इंडिया को बैन होने के लिए. मैं उसकी जगह होता, मैं वहां पे इनके मुंह पे रेजिग्नेशन मार के आता. हाउ डेयर यू टच माय कंट्री, एंड इवन इफ यू वांट टू बैन इट, आई डोंट वांट टू बी पार्ट ऑफ यू. देन क्यों नहीं किया उसने? वी हैड ओनली वन इंडियन देयर. And this is what he did to us. In fact, he wrote letters to them saying, why aren't you banning India when you banned Pakistan, Kenya? And he tried to show us that ये letter मैंने बचाने के लिए लिखी है. But second page में जो लिखा था उसने was all that, why aren't you doing it when you've already done it for so many countries? So that is the sad part. But now at least the expose has been done, and everybody knows that why the battle was so hard for me to make sure that this guy is out. And by the way, this guy is still not out. He's still pulling strings from FIFA. And we've got to make sure we don't fall for them, guys. See, it's not about just 13 clubs. They're not just 13 clubs in India. Or even I-League, 11 clubs in India. 24 total clubs नहीं है इंडिया में. इंडिया में 20,000 क्लब है और अकेडमीज है. या अलग बात है, वो रजिस्टर्ड नहीं है क्योंकि वो स्टेट एसोसिएशन रजिस्टर ही नहीं होने देती उनको. बट वो खेलते हैं. वो अपने संडे पार्क में खेलते हैं, बट वो खेलते हैं. दिस फॉर दोज प्लेयर्स. बिकॉज जिस दिन उन्होंने बंद कर दिया ना खेलना, फिर सिर्फ 24 क्लब रह जाएंगे.
एग्जैक्टली सर. विचार भाई, आप भी पूछ लो.
हेलो रंजीत सर, सॉरी थोड़ा कैमरा इशू है तो कैमरा ऑन नहीं कर पा रहा.
No problem.
Yeah. I had two questions, sir. Can I ask? Yeah. सर पहला क्वेश्चन तो यही है, आपने शायद आज लिस्ट देख ली होगी कि मतलब किन किन लोगों ने AIFF प्रेसिडेंट के इसमें नॉमिनेशन दिया है. बाइचुंग सर की पर्सनालिटी को तो जितने लोग देख रहे हैं और हम जितने पैनल में सब जानते ही है. उसके अलावा बाकी लोगों से आपकी क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है अगर वो बाइचुंग सर को हरा के बन जाए तो? फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन ये. एंड सेकंड क्वेश्चन ये मेरा कि सर एक धड़ा है, वो मतलब आपको भी थोड़ा सा पता है, आपने सोशल मीडिया पे देखा ना देखा हो, वो आपको भी थोड़ा सा ब्लेम करता है कि आपकी वजह से हुआ क्योंकि आपने पिटीशन डाला था एंड ऑल. तो उस धड़े को आप क्या जवाब देना चाहेंगे? ये दो क्वेश्चन है मेरे.
पहले तो पिटीशन पे आते हैं. अगर ये मुझे कल मौका फिर से मिलेगा मैं फिर से करूंगा. साल के बाद फिर मिलेगा मैं फिर से करूंगा. उसके बाद फिर से मिलूंगा फिर से करूंगा. बिकॉज आई डोंट केयर अबाउट द प्लास्टिक फैंस हु आर आउट देयर हु आर ओनली केयरिंग अबाउट क्लब्स. I care about those fans who care about the country and who care about the nation. I don't care about I-League. Remember that. Okay? I don't care about second division or ISL. I care about my country. And for my country, you cannot have people who are corrupt inside. You cannot have people who are allowing sexual molestation of my young girls in my national teams for 2 years and they are putting it under the carpet. If you allow that, then please allow it with your own daughters. because I do not have the conscience to allow it. If it means getting India banned, so be it. But you cannot. So what is FIFA wanting? FIFA wants Praful Patel to come back in and those same guys to come back in. We can never allow it over my dead body. If it happens, I will go tomorrow again, by the way. And I will again put a petition there. And if I have to go to CAS and do it, I'll do it there. Why? Because they let it happen. And they let all this happen under their watchful eyes. So you cannot allow those same people in. Now, all the ones who are blaming me for it, my reasons for doing it were very simple. You have to remove a guy who's staying beyond his democratically elected time. अब कल कोई हमारे इंडिया में डिक्टेटर आ जाएगा तो तुम भी यही करना फिर बैठ के. क्यों? क्योंकि वो तो डंडे मारेगा फिर तुम्हारे को if you try to remove him. So what was Praful Patel doing? He was a dictator because he stayed beyond his election. मैंने पिटीशन क्या डाली थी? इलेक्शन कराओ. क्या गलत किया इसमें मैंने? क्या मांगा था मैंने? अपनी पिटीशन में मैंने क्या मांगा था? सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्या ऑर्डर दिया है वो उन्होंने सीओए बनाई है, मैंने नहीं बनाई है. ठीक है, मेरा पिटीशन क्या था कि ये बंदा इलेक्टेड नहीं है, इसके 3 टर्म्स ओवर हो गए हैं, हमारा नेशनल लॉ कहता है कि इमीडिएटली इलेक्शन होनी चाहिए. दैट वाज माय पिटीशन. इफ आई हैव टू डू दैट अगेन, आई विल डू इट अगेन टुमारो. नाउ फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या था तेरा भाई?
सर जो जितने भी नाम लिस्ट में है मतलब एआईएफएफ प्रेसिडेंट की, शायद आपने देखा होगा. बाइचुंग भूटिया सर को तो हम सब जानते हैं, बाकी सबके बारे में आप थोड़ा बताइए.
जो नाम तो हम सबको पता है और जो हम चाहते हैं, जो सबको पता है हमारे को नाम बाइचुंग भूटिया, वो बंदा कैसे आएगा अगर प्लेयर्स को हटा दोगे तो? वो बंदा आएगा ही नहीं, वो कभी नहीं आएगा. अगर प्लेयर्स के पास वोटिंग राइट्स नहीं होंगे उसको कौन लेके आएगा? स्टेट्स? कभी नहीं. सो और निकाल लो गालियां मुझे, बिकॉज वो तो नहीं आएगा. कौन आएगा इन बाकियों में से? उनको कोई जानता है ना? उन्होंने कोई काम किया फुटबॉल के लिए ना? क्या करने आ रहे हैं? जो पहले वाले करने आ रहे थे. कौन लेके आएगा? जो पहले थे. See, that was the change which we are trying to bring. अपने आप तुमने क्वेश्चन पूछा कि एक ही नाम जानता है सर, वो बाइचुंग भूटिया, वो नहीं है, बाकी सारों का क्या है? और वो क्यों नहीं आएगा? क्योंकि जिस चीज के लिए तुम मुझे गालियां निकाल रहे हो कि तूने प्लेयर मांग ली है और इसीलिए ये हो गया. अच्छा, नाउ फीफा हैड अलाउड 25% प्लेयर्स, तो अब अगले लेटर में कहते हैं नो प्लेयर्स. सो जस्ट सी व्हाट इज हैपनिंग गाइस. How can our countrymen not fight for our players? So you rather have politicians be there, you want bureaucrats be there, you want people who've got nothing to do with sports be there. जब प्लेयर को नहीं लेना ये तो लिख दो कि स्पोर्ट्स एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर होना चाहिए, कुछ रिलेशन होनी चाहिए उसकी फुटबॉल के साथ. And why do you think politicians come in? For what? You know that. You know that. तो फिर कब करेंगे चेंज हम? अगर हमारी जनरेशन नहीं करेगी तो हमारे बच्चे हमारे को ही गालियां निकालेंगे, तुम साले क्या कर रहे थे जब तुम्हें पता था कि इस बंदे ने इतनी करप्शन की है, तुम्हें पता था इसने ऐसे ऐसे गंदे काम किए हैं और तुमने इसको फिर लाने दिया और तुमने एक्चुअली कैंपेन कैरी आउट की टू मेक श्योर दैट डजंट मैटर आईएसएल ब्लाइंड. See, you have to understand again, not just look at this, look at the larger picture. In larger picture, you can only look at 10 साल में क्या आने वाला है, 10 साल में क्या होएगा, 20 साल में क्या होएगा. हमारी लाइफ टाइम में हम अभी भी ये क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं कि हम फुटबॉल का वर्ल्ड जीतने की बात, इमेजिन कोई जीतने की बात ही नहीं करता इंडिया में. शर्म की बात है कि वी डोंट इवन से कि हम वर्ल्ड कप कब जीतेंगे. इंडियंस क्या पूछते हैं? हम वर्ल्ड कप कब पहुंचेंगे. पार्टिसिपेशन सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए अभी भी. You think that's what we Indians deserve? And you think if we could have got there by the system they are following, तो at least हमारी ranking तो better होनी चाहिए थी. अब तो इनके पास they've had 7, 8, 9 years this has been running. कुछ तो improvement होनी चाहिए थी. At least हम एशिया के top 10 में तो आने चाहिए थे. जो हम 1996 में थे वो हम 2022 में हैं. 26 साल से जहां पे हम पहले थे वहीं पे आ गए. हाँ, we went to 173 also and then we came down.
एंड सर एक और एकदम से चीज ध्यान आ गई आपको. सर मैंने आप तो वैसे बहुत सारी डिबेट्स में गए थे, पर मैंने आपकी 2 डिबेट्स थोड़ा अच्छे से देखी थी। एक थी रिपब्लिक वाली एंड एक इंडिया न्यूज में आप प्रदीप सर के साथ थे। तो वहां पे मुझे ऐसा लगा सर आप तो सेंस की बात कर रहे थे, पर जो अदर पैनलिस्ट आए थे वो तो ऐसा लग रहा था मिस्टर पटेल ने भेजे हुए अपने एजेंट। तो
बिल्कुल
सर मतलब
बिल्कुल वही था।
मतलब
तो
हाँ सर
लेट्स कम टू द फर्स्ट वन जो इंडिया न्यूज वाला था। तो वो जो बंदा मेरे से आर्ग्यू कर रहा था उसका नाम था अनिर्बन दत्ता। वो था नया सेक्रेटरी आईएफए का, कैलकाटा वाली एसोसिएशन का, वेस्ट बंगाल का। वो कौन है? वो सुब्रता दत्ता का भाई लग गया अब। सुब्रता दत्ता has been president of IFA for 20 years. Now he's put his brother. That is the guy I was arguing with. तो उसको मैंने
यस
क्या पूछा था, मैं इसको पूछा फैक्ट्स के बारे में। मैं कहा तेरे को पता है कि प्रफुल्ल पटेल को $2.5 लाख मिलता है? नहीं पता। तो मैं कहा फिर क्यों आर्ग्यू कर रहा है? फिर मैंने आस्क हिम, मैं कहा इसीलिए आर्ग्यू कर रहा है बिकॉज तू उसका भाई है ना। सुब्रता दत्ता का भाई है ना? नहीं। मैं कहा भाई है ना? नहीं। भाई है ना? हाँ हाँ मैं हूँ। जब को है बिकॉज मैं आई सेड कि तुम इन्हीं को तो निकालने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं हम, कि अपने मामे चाचे ताए के दे मेड इट देयर ओन प्रॉपर्टी। यूपी वाले ने, शमशुद्दीन वाज देयर। ओके, लेट मी टेल यू द केस ऑफ यूपी। यूपी का जो प्रेसिडेंट था शमशुद्दीन, ही वाज देयर फॉर 25 इयर्स एंड उसने इन 2000 अगेन गूगल इट, उसने अंडर 17 गर्ल्स जो उनकी नेशनल टीम की गर्ल्स थी जो जा रही थी, he called them to his own house and sexually molested and raped them. उन लड़कियों ने, imagine in that time, अब तो women have some kind of thing of coming out, you know, speaking little bit. अभी भी बहुत कम है, but है ना थोड़ा सा। उस टाइम पे देखो यूपी जैसी जगह पे कौन बोलेगा? कोई नहीं बोलेगा। Those girls came out, spoke up, FIR was registered, that guy was arrested. उसको फिर 6 महीने के बाद या 4 महीने के बाद बेल मिली। AFF ने क्या किया? फीफा गवर्निंग काउंसिल मेंबर और जा रहे थे स्विट्जरलैंड। तो प्रफुल्ल पटेल, कुशाल दास, थर्ड मेंबर, टू रिवॉर्ड हिम फॉर हिज ड्यूटीज, शमशुद्दीन, ये तीनों का आके रिप्रेजेंट किए। आफ्टर डूइंग दिस, देन कमिंग बैक, ही डाइड, मिस्टर शमशुद्दीन डाइड 2 years ago. Who took over as president or secretary? His son. Now his son is the secretary for the next 20 years. अच्छा, यूपी में अगर वो कुछ कर लेता, यूपी में आकाश मिश्रा के अलावा कौन आया? एंड आकाश मिश्रा यूपी की वजह से नहीं आया। He was in Dreams Academy in Germany. That's why he was given the training and he came back. Imagine that. So when they say, okay, guys, when you know जितने सारे ISL वाले हैं जो कहते हैं, my problem not that. My problem is you should as countrymen think about your country first. So that doesn't mean that don't support your club. Ask your club to do more. So if you're Kerala Blaster fans, na, you should be telling Kerala Blasters or Mohun Bagan, by the way, or East Bengal, it's not Kerala, or back, anyone, all the clubs. How many players have you produced for India in the last 10 years? Your junior academies. मेरे से ज़्यादा पैसे हैं ना उनके पास, सबके पास। उन सालों के पास, हर एक क्लब के पास मेरे से ज़्यादा पैसे हैं। But not only that, they get 2 crores a year, 2 crores a year from FSDL to just run their under 13, 15, 18 teams. मेरा entire budget was 1.4 when I won the I-League. And in those, so 2 into 10 और 13 अब होगी, 26 करोड़ का बजट है। 26 करोड़ हर साल वो यूथ डेवलपमेंट पे खर्च करते हैं। कितने प्लेयर इंडिया के लिए प्रोड्यूस किए उन्होंने? So how are you actually being nationalist? I mean, understand, कौन डेवलपमेंट करेगा भाई? AFF ने करना नहीं है, क्लब्स ने करना नहीं है, करेगा कौन? एक एकेडमी होती थी हमारी वर्ल्ड क्लास, जिसमें हमारे को पता था कि यार ये है टाटा फुटबॉल एकेडमी। Since ISL came in, टाटा फुटबॉल एकेडमी has produced 0 players. क्यों? सारा बजट कहाँ चला गया उनका? TFA का, जमशेदपुर में। आज जमशेदपुर 3-0 हारी है। किससे? आर्मी से। किससे? आर्मी उर्मी से, है ना, और मोहम्मद से, somebody. So see, just when you talk, you should know facts. And you are trying to kill the only league जिससे ISL प्रोड्यूस करता है। कहाँ से खरीदता है प्लेयर्स? कहाँ से लेता है? आई लीग से ही लेता है ना। आई लीग से तुम हर साल प्लेयर उठाते हो, तुम कहते घटिया लीग है। तो अगर इंग्लैंड में चैंपियनशिप बंद हो जाए, प्रीमियर लीग खत्म हो जाए, because it is a pyramid system. And when they say developmental players, you have to have 2 under 21 players or 19 players in your team. Why can't you make it the rule that you have to have 221 under players who have been produced by your own academy? फिर देखो उनको खर्च करना पड़ेगा अपनी एकेडमीज पे, बट देयर इज नो रूल्स। वो जो 2 करोड़ आते हैं हर साल के, वो क्या करते हैं? दे बाय अ फॉरेनर प्लेयर एंड गिव हिम दैट सैलरी, और अपने बच्चों, अपने खुद के बच्चों पे खर्च नहीं करते। फिर ये दिखाने के लिए करते हैं रिलायंस यूथ डेवलपमेंटल लीग। डेवलपमेंटल लीग, इफ यू ओन द एंटायर कंट्रीज फुटबॉल, व्हाई कांट इट बी फॉर द ऑल अंडर 21s? इन्होंने आईएसएल क्लब्स को बुलाया, आधों ने कहा हमने खेलना ही नहीं है, सिर्फ 5 क्लब्स ने खेला, और उन क्लब्स को लेके गए वहां पे, और फिर देख लिया था स्कोर क्या हुआ हमारे साथ वहां पे, इन जस्ट विद द प्रीमियर लीग teams of their age groups, and they were actually junior to our teams. We were playing under 20 and they were playing under 18 teams. So see how far back our best teams, we say the best teams in the country, are from that. And why are there still no alarm bells ringing? Alarm bells मतलब सारा पैसा हमारे को खत्म करके सारा जूनियर्स पे खर्च करना चाहिए। 10 साल के अंदर you'll see we'll be in the top 10 in Asia, and 20 साल के अंदर we'll be there in the World Cup. But you have to start. You can't leave it to just one academy to do it, or 2 academies to do it, or 3 academies. We need 100. And that has to be promoted by AIFF. And AIFF, if it is not run by a person who's interested and is given away to a corporate body, they will only care about profits of that year. See, that's what corporates do. इस साल का क्या profit है, इस साल का, अगले साल का क्या है, बस that's it. They don't think 10 years or 20 years ahead.
And Ranjit sir, the pyramid system you talked about, अभी मैंने एक observation करा, like I saw the England lineup which played in the Euro 2020 final. So in that lineup, I think only I think Kyle Walker or some no Kyle Walker also played. I think there were only 2 or 3 players that has never played in the English Championship. Like all
Yes.
of them at least went
Yes.
there for loan or they
Yes.
played there.
And not only
So
that,
like
bhai,
you are right.
not only that, bhai, I'll give you another example. A team like Manchester United, by the way, उनको पैसों की कमी है? नहीं. They can buy any player in the world. हाँ. 100 years से Man U has never had a starting lineup in which one of their academy products has not been there.
Yes.
If youth development was not that important, and by the way, I don't like Man U, I'm just telling you, this is great. Imagine 100 years they've never had a lineup in any match where the academy product is not playing. Imagine that. And they don't need even one academy product. They can buy anybody they want, but they still do it, and it's giving them results. And that's not only Man U, all academies. Look at what Man City has made. Would you think they spend over $100 million, pounds, 150 million pounds on their new training facility for their kids? That means the under 13s, 15s, 18s. You know, with $150 million, you could have got one of the great strikers of the world for that season. But that would have only been for one season. Man City is thinking of domination for the next 50 years. So what do? Instead of that one striker, you put it there. And that academy will now produce players for Man City after 5 years, forever. Forever होता है. जैसे मिनर्वा का कन्वेयर बेल्ट है, मेरा बंद नहीं होएगा. Because it's a process. You're there, you're training morning, night, morning, night, morning, night. You will become a player. Whatever you do morning, night, morning, night, morning, night, you get good at it. How good depends on what kind of facilities you get.
एग्जैक्टली सर। सर सबसे पहले तो सर आपके आने से हमारे 5000 सब्सक्राइबर जहां कल तक होते हैं सर अभी जस्ट 1 घंटे के अंदर हो गया। तो कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन टू माय टीम, सौम्या, अभिषेक भाई,
So happy. Well done, guys. Well done.
थैंक यू सर। और सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन सर थोड़ा डिफरेंस है। आपने सर नोवी कपाड़िया सर का नाम लिया था। मैंने विजय लोकपाली सर से भी उनके बारे में सुना था कुछ। तो सर थोड़ा मैं उनके बारे में जानना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि मैंने उनके थोड़ी बहुत ही कमेंट्री सुनी है। तो सर मैं थोड़ा जानना चाहता हूँ उनके बारे में।
He was the greatest encyclopedia of Indian football. He was somebody who has saw that even though he could have bent and then got a lot of money from ISL being a commentator, he never wanted to, because he knew that this was a death blow for Indian football. He was one of the forefront people speaking against it, and he helped in the constitution. So if this constitution is applied, Novi sir's name will always be remembered because he was one of the authors of the constitution. He was one of the most passionate people, you know. जैसे you people say ना कि मेरी आवाज में है, you go and hear his commentary, it will be so, it's like, you know, you can feel it that this guy really loves the country and the country's football. And it was such a great pleasure always talking to him about it. And he had such great stories to say. So at these moments, and when India is not there, I sometimes remember that he used to say, the Ranjit, that when I really hope that Indians learn really fast that money is not the way to improve football. It's always culture. And Tom Breyer is one of the greatest sports psychologists and football psychologists and coaches in the world. He says, culture eats talent every day for breakfast. If you have a culture of people who love and enjoy football, it'll always be great. And that is why we have a culture in which states? In Goa, in West Bengal, in Maharashtra. So football will never die there. Even if there's no ISL, I-League, it will never die there, because 100 years, football didn't die there. There was no ISL. No matter what happened, football was there. And culture is what we have to produce in other states. Now, how will that happen? When these state people get out and they actually, football starts happening. And it can happen. We are not far away from it. It might just happen tomorrow in the Supreme Court.
Sir, one more question, sir. If we are from Bihar and MP, if anyone want to join your club, sir, how they can join, sir?
Okay, so we at Minerva and Delhi FC or Tektro Sudesh, we have a very open policy. Number one, if anyone ever asks you that, you know, go for a trial Minerva or Delhi FC or Tektro Sudesh and says there's a trial fees, we never take trial fees, because trial fees is a way of making money, and you cannot expect a person who's coming to pay for trial fees. Why? Because suppose हम जाके कहीं पे ट्रायल कराएं और हम एक सिटी पे जाएं, तो जो दूर से बच्चा आ रहा है 13 साल का, वो अपने डैडी को बोलेगा कि डैडी मुझे वहाँ लेके जाओ, उसको 500 रुपये लगेंगे जाने के लिए और आने के लिए, 500 रुपये डैडी और उसका खाना पीना, और उस दिन डैडी अपनी नौकरी मिस करेगा तो 500 रुपये उसकी सैलरी से कटेंगे। कितने बाप इंडिया में हैं जो 1500 रुपये अपने बच्चे के लिए खर्च करेंगे सिर्फ ट्रायल के लिए, ऊपर से तुम कहते हो 1000 रुपये की ट्रायल फीस। So these are the kind of things which are happening with a lot of other clubs as well. So we never take trial fees. Anyone can apply. You have to do your intermittent yo-yo recovery test, which is available on the YouTube. You have to cross 19.8. Send us a video. We'll call you for a free trial. That means khana pina rehna hum dekhenge, and you'll be here. If you make it, you'll get a contract or you'll be sent home. Anyone can apply.
Great, sir. Many of my friends play football. Their younger brother plays football. I will tell them. Vaishali, any question? Vaishali.
Sir, you have talked about players, you have talked about the people who want to play football, but what about us? Any opinion, anything that you want to tell us and we should do?
See, guys, keep supporting Indian football, obviously. But more than that, support players, individual players, make them feel good about themselves. Especially when they don't do well, that is the time they need the most support. So when you do that, you see even one message from a fan to a player means a lot. And then if you do shows like that and you try to make them popular, that will really help. Who? I want you to do that to the younger lot. The ones who are already in ISL don't need it, okay? I'm not even in the I-League. I'm talking about young players who've probably done well in the nationals, so that his teammates say, "के यार, देख यार, ये तो famous हो गया यार. इसने तो under 16 में 4 goal मारे यार." And that will motivate the other under 16s to do really well. So those are the kind of boys bring up new stories. That will be the best thing you can do. And obviously, keep supporting our country. That we should. I don't need to tell you that. You guys do it very well. So other than that, you guys are doing a great job. You already have 5,000 subscribers. So hopefully by next year we are touching 50K.
Hopefully, sir.
Touch wood. Sir, I had a question regarding Madhya Pradesh football. Sir, I don't know whether you are aware about that. There is one famous club here which is known as Adivasi Club, and they
Okay.
destroy, like they kind of like play best football in Madhya Pradesh, and they like destroy the teams which like they are whoever are their opponents. But still, we
Are
are
you
not able
are
to
you
see.
talking about the Siddhi community?
Yeah,
So we were the first club. We went on trials there because हमारे को लगा क्या foreigner हमारे देश में कुछ foreigner है यार हमारे Indians हैं. So their genes are really great. See, the only thing they don't have is a platform to perform. And now next year we are going to be actually taking our coaches to that place. There are two places. One is in Billai and one is in I think Karnataka near Bangalore. Thanks, Rohit. Thank you so much, bhai. So we're going to be going there and taking these things out. You're right. Do you know who the best women footballers in India currently are? The tribal girls from Jharkhand.
hmm. Yes.
Yes, the tribal girls from Jharkhand. क्यों? वो आदिवासी लड़कियों के पास सी क्या होता है एक तो जो हार्ड वर्क होता है ना they don't consider it as hard work because it's their daily life. Okay, in fact they consider this to be easier than what they are used to back home, and it's a way for them to change the lives of their entire clan. That means one girl gets famous from their village, the entire village somehow hangs on and uses that as a motivation that one of us can do it here. So these girls have shown the world, they won the nationals also, they did that, they've shown the world that our girls, even in the remotest corners of India, are better than our girls in the cities or other places where they've got all the facilities. So imagine, that's what I'm trying to tell you. If our Adivasi girls can do that, the Madhya Pradesh Adivasi boys can do that. Ronaldo and Messi is already there. We've just not found him. He's in some remote village and somebody's just not gone there and given him the platform to perform.
Yes, sir. Actually, my hopes are quite like good for Madhya Pradesh because who gave them chance that they will win Ranji Trophy? When they won Ranji Trophy, like people are quite motivated that in other sports also MP can do well because people doesn't even still consider MP as a like sporting state.
Exactly. Why? Not because they didn't do, they just didn't get platforms to perform. अब रणजी ट्रॉफी में प्लेटफॉर्म परफॉर्म करने मिला 5-10 साल खेले दे वन इट सेम विद अंडरस्टैंड विद हिमाचल ने पिछली बार T20 जीता है हिमाचल जैसे स्टेट ने and they got inspiration from who they said that because our Himachali people have done well in hockey and in other places and this so we thought we can also do well. See, it's all about doing it once and showing the world is possible, showing your own men is possible or your own women is possible, then everybody believes. So once Neeraj Chopra has done that, or Abhinav Bindra has done that as well, especially Neeraj coming in now, we Indians believe that we can win medals, man. एक बार होता चल तुक्का लग गया, 2 बार तुक्का नहीं लगता.
Sir, one question about cricket, sir. You have talked earlier in Abhishek Bhai show about Subman Gill, sir. Sir, how सर उनके बारे में आप क्या देख सोचते हो सर क्योंकि काफी अच्छा कर रहे हैं ओडीआई क्रिकेट में भी.
See, I had the honor and pleasure of playing with him or alongside him in one of the tournaments 10 years ago. But I was just there as a guest player. But he was 14 then. And when he was 14, I was already playing him in my senior team. That's what I do with the footballers as well. Put your best players in the seniors. So he was doing that, and I remember he scored a century at 14 in a 2020 match against the best bowling attack at that time. We used to be Joginder Sharma and Srisant. And on both different matches, he smashed them. And there was some tournament here in Punjab. And when I saw that at the age of 14, I said, oh my God, this guy has a brilliant future ahead. And knowing that, he did really well. So is Abhishek Sharma, by the way. Abhishek Sharma is also one of the greatest talents which I found. The latest fast bowler, Arshdeep. Arshdeep is our boy. Then Harpreet Brar, the left-arm spinner, is our boy. Gurkirat Maan, Mandeep Singh, Manan Bora. All these boys have played cricket. Even Shikhar Dhawan, by the way, has played cricket for Minerva Academy so many times. But these boys have grown, and the other one, the Punjab boys I'm talking about, they've been grown up in playing this. Because before, again, IPL was, again, is a new thing. It's like 8-10 years old. Before that, their clubs used to be ones giving opportunities and platforms, especially to the ones who got selected. And that is where I've been able to get great talents out. Siddharth Kaul, by the way, was fast bowler. Brilliant, brilliant find. His brother Uday Kaul, nobody knows. He's over 10,000 runs in the first class cricket. Then Manpreet Singh Dhoni, the fast bowler. Again, us. So, a lot of names again. But cricket is a sport, which does not need support in India. It's an automatic. अब कोई नहीं पूछता तेंदुलकर कहाँ है, अगला विराट कोहली कहाँ है, हजार है हमारे पास. क्यों? क्योंकि हमारी ग्रासरूट्स वर्ल्ड की बेस्ट ग्रासरूट्स है क्रिकेट में. दैट इज व्हाई.
सर वी आर प्राउड सर कि आप हमारे देश के लिए इतना कुछ किया आपने सर. हमेशा
सर हमने सब बात करी, लेकिन जो आपका रोडी से कनेक्शन है रणविजय सिंह का, और उस पे भी हम आपसे जानना चाहेंगे.
सी आई डिड दिस. उस टाइम पे फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल रियलिटी शो होते नहीं थे, तो ये पहला रियलिटी शो इंडिया में आया था. और इन्होंने एडवर्टाइज ऐसे किया था अपने आप को, क्योंकि नोबडी न्यू अबाउट रियलिटी शोज, कि रोडीज इज हैपनिंग एंड इफ यू विन दिस शो यू विल गेट अ बाइक एंड यू विल गेट बेसिकली यू विल बी ट्रैवलिंग फ्रॉम चेन्नई to Chail, Himachal Pradesh, 4,400 kilometers in 40 days on a bike, and there'll be 4 boys and 3 girls, and there was supposed to be no winner of the show and all that. You'll just do tasks, and if you do tasks, you do well, you get food. If you don't do tasks, you go hungry. You sleep on the road, or sleep on dhabas, or sleep on little places which they are designed. So it was great fun. In fact, when Ranvijay's pet name is Donny, Ranvijay was there with me. He had no intention of going to Bollywood or to Mumbai. He was always wanted to be an armed forces officer. He had cleared the SSB. He had got his NDA written, his merit list name and merit list joining letter in hand. And he still says, so proud to know a guy like that. He still says the biggest mistake I made was I didn't join the armed forces, even in spite of all the fame he's got. And because his father, his grandfather, his chacha, all have retired as lieutenant generals from the armed forces. By the way, all three, his chacha and his father, are all from Minerva Academy. And I came to know only once I met him. Now he's very close to me, and in fact, one of my best friends. And he was one of my original partners and owners in Minerva Academy, Minerva Punjab FC. So he's a fantastic guy. And now अब तो रोडीज इन्होंने सास भी कभी बहू बना दिया बिल्कुल उस टाइम पे. And it's available on Woot. So if you want to know what I was doing at your age, all your guys' ages, you can go and see that and see how stupid I was.
By the way, sir, Ranvijay sir has
Great fun.
Yeah, Ranvijay is nowadays doing like anchoring at Shark Tank India. So what's your take on that? Like on the show as a whole and Ranvijay's role in there.
See, I think Shark Tank is a great show. I would love to be on Shark Tank, but not as I would like to be one of the sharks, like somebody like a Mark Cuban, which is there in the original show, because I want to actually help sports startups, and that would be great. I think it's a great opportunity, Shark Tank, for budding investors to come up, because see what India is lacking is in R&D. How we go behind countries like China and the US. They spend 3 to 4% of the GDP on just R&D, research and development. Only if you have R&D will you get better and things, and you'll invent stuff, and you'll get patents, and you'll be inventors, not buyers of stuff. In India, we have 0.9% or 0.7% of our GDP spent there. The day we reach 3%, that is the day. See, we have now 9 unicorns. Unicorns means a company which has reached over $1 billion. 9 unicorn billionaires startups. That means it's about dreaming. See, that's the same in football. It's about dreaming. Any one of you and us can dream कि मैं अपनी कंपनी खोल सकता हूँ and I can be worth $1 billion. क्यों? हमारे कितने इंडियंस ने कर लिया यार. और पहले 1990 से पहले 2000 से पहले ये पॉसिबल ही नहीं था. तो nobody used to even dream. वही जो 10 बिलियनर थे वही बिलियनर, क्योंकि उनके मामा चाचा ताया बिलियनर थे. अब फुटबॉल में ये है. That's what I want in football. Any guy should be able to open a club and say, because I'm good enough, not because I have money in my wallet, because I'm good enough, I'll win the district league, then I'll become into the state, then state champion, then I get into second division, I'll win second division, get into I League, I'll win I League, I'll get into ISL. He can dream. That's what should be there, the possibility of hope and dream. You can't tell a club you can be as good as you want, but you can never play in the top league unless you have money.
Sir, in this season Shark Tank, if you are aware who is Sohel Chandok, he came up with a like his idea that he started a kabaddi portal, or like I think it was a app or something he like puts in. So in that app, all over the whatever kabaddi is happening all over the world, it is put on a single platform, and he got an investment there also. Like if you know who Sohel Chandok is, like he's star sport commentator.
Yes. So imagine what can happen with football. Kabaddi, ye Star Sports and FSDL Reliance own Kabaddi. But Ronnie Screwvala, who was owner of U Mumbai, he said all the clubs together said, what is this meaning of the broadcaster owning the league? We are not going to allow this. All the clubs got together. They said auction करो. एंड उन्होंने ऑक्शन किए लास्ट ईयर. स्टार स्पोर्ट्स ने खरीदे 180 करोड़ के कबड्डी के राइट्स 5 साल के. तो इमेजिन फुटबॉल के साथ क्या, कौन कहता है फुटबॉल में पैसा नहीं है? You know how much money can come in if they actually market it properly and do it properly. कहते हैं हमारे पास पैसा नहीं होएगा, next day we can get money. Exactly, Ankit is so right. Dream is the first step. And unless you can dream, you can't do. Your dream should bloody scare you. You should get up in the morning. Yeah, am I capable of this? Yes, only if you can dream it, you can do it. You can't dream it, you can't do it. Simple. Aim for the sun, man. And then not just aim. Work your ass off and hard work towards that aim. Even if you miss the aim, you'll be in the stars. Aim क्या? पेड़ के ऊपर जाना है. साला अगर मिस कर दिया, पेड़ पे टंगे हो गए कहीं पे.
सर मेरा आपसे ये क्वेश्चन है कि इंडिया में बहुत कम सिटीज में, मतलब कम तो नहीं मगर बहुत ज्यादा सिटीज में भी फुटबॉल स्टेडियम्स नहीं है अच्छे खासे, जैसे कोलकाता में, चेन्नई सिटी वगैरह में, चेन्नई वगैरह में. अगर वो इंडिया में डेवलप हो जाए हर जगह, तो वो इंडियन फुटबॉल के लिए कितना बड़ा बेनिफिशियल रहेगा. क्योंकि मैं खुद नागपुर से हूँ, तो यहाँ कोई फुटबॉल स्टेडियम नहीं है. लोग चाहते हैं कि नागपुर में एज ए फुटबॉल स्टेडियम आए. हमारे पास ऐसे ग्राउंड टाइप भी नहीं. हमको एक बैडमिंटन स्टेडियम में के बाहर खेलना पड़ता है, अगर आपको पता होगा मानकापुर स्टेडियम.
Yeah, so Swami, I imagine.
तो आपको क्या
अब
लगता
ये
है?
कहते हैं ना कि मुंबई सेकंड डिवीजन जाती हैं टीम्स, कैंकरे एंड ऑल दोस टीम्स गो फ्रॉम मुंबई. That is not the champions of Maharashtra. There is more football in Kolhapur and Pune and Nagpur put together than Mumbai. वहां से क्यों नहीं जाते हैं? तो मतलब कि तुम्हारा एक्चुअल फुटबॉल जो हो रहा है is only in Mumbai and same in Calcutta. West Bengal में भी दार्जिलिंग से कोई नहीं है, कालिम्पोंग से कोई नहीं है, नॉर्थ परगना से कोई नहीं है, सिर्फ कैलकाटा की टीम्स हैं. So unless you have infrastructure which is every, how did we do well in hockey? Hockey में we used to be crap because हमारा क्या होता था कि ग्राउंड्स ही नहीं होते थे और फिर वहां जाके हम टर्फ पे खेलते थे. फिर क्या हुआ 2010 से 20 तक we made 800 turfs all over India. Now you go your city Nagpur, guaranteed there's a turf. My city Chandigarh, there are 4 turfs for hockey. Name the city, you'll have turfs for hockey. The day we have the same kind of, so क्यों नहीं होता? Because football is a passing game. हमारे सेंटर बैक क्या करते हैं जब बॉल आती है? ओ पास नहीं करना. क्यों? मैं करूंगा इसको, जाएगी साले उसको. क्यों? ग्राउंड ही ऐसा है. तो क्या करते हैं? लंबी मार साले, लंबी मार. उनकी गलती नहीं है. तो फिर मैच में जाके फिर उनको कोच कहता है पास कर. यू थिंक आदत चेंज हो जाएगी? इसीलिए लंबे मारते हैं. So what do we need? We need world-class grounds. What do we have in India? The weather to have world-class grounds. Why? Because if you see in England or you जहाँ पे भी हैं, you see कि ना ये winters में lamps लगाते हैं on the ground to keep it warm, and they have warm stuff under, warm water running under the ground to keep the ground not solid because वो freeze हो जाता है ground. हमारी इंडिया में इतनी heat है, we can have the best grassiest pitches in the world. We don't need turfs. We just need a body which cares. The day we have a good ground, like Soumya says, in every city also, na, we've done it. That is the day development will start. Because you don't need to tell kids to play. If there's a beautiful ground, kids will go there themselves.
सर मेरा आपसे एक और क्वेश्चन ये था कि आपको लगता है कल ये, मतलब आप जैसे बता रहे हो कल कोर्ट का ये मीटिंग, तो कल लगता है आपको ये मैटर सुलझ जाएगा कि इसको और आगे थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वगैरह?
Fingers crossed, bhai. I wish I could tell you anything or predict, but it's not in anyone's hand except the Supreme Court. We have to all hope for a great verdict. Obviously, main thing. Thank you, Ankit. Thank you so much, man. Obviously, we fingers are crossed that World Cup doesn't go away from us. And the other main thing is we can't have the same people coming back in. That's it. Otherwise, there's no change.
सर और आप इतना बता रहे हो तब हमें पता चल रहा नहीं तो हम गूगल वगैरह पे इसका सर्च कर रहे तो गूगल में तो इसके बारे में इतनी इन्फॉर्मेशन है ही नहीं सच बोलूं तो हमने इसके बारे में गूगल वगैरह किया तो
इसीलिए वो जो रिपब्लिक टीवी पे एक सोहेल सेठ आया था वो भी गूगल करके आया था फिर उसको थोड़ी रियलिटी बताई थी मैंने ये गलती हमारी नहीं है भाई बिकॉज पहली बार ही फुटबॉल इज कम ऑन इवन टू द मीडिया See, Tushar says that how much football calendar will affect football if improved in the future. See, if you have a calendar, imagine for 8 months, the number of matches and the game time you're giving, and if you have 20 teams, the number of players who are getting that game time, what does that mean? The number of players available for selection of the Indian national team for each position is into 4. So instead of selecting from 4 centre backs, you can select from 16 centre backs. That's the impact it will make.
सर आपको लगता है जो अभी तक हो गया वो ठीक है मगर अब जो हम लोग इसका सस्पेंशन मिला है फीफा को उसके बाद इंडियन जो एआईएफएफ बॉडी है वो सुधरेगी और वो आगे जाके और बेटरमेंट के लिए वर्क करेगी कि वही सेम केस रहेगा जैसा पहले था
सस्पेंशन I can promise you one thing Soumya I will never stop fighting for my country till the day I die I will be fighting for my country and I will not be taking even if 1 billion people are against something which is wrong I will still stand up and say they are wrong simple as that because if I was going to think about who's standing against me, then I wouldn't be standing up against Ambani or Praful Patel or Kushal Das. And that is why I'll keep doing what is right. I live my life through my morals. That means I will die for my morals. Why do you think, people say if you live in glass houses, you should not throw stones at others. I live in a bloody steel bunker. Nobody can throw a stone at me. 15 saal se, my life is so spick and span, you can't touch me. I sleep a very happy man and I sleep very peaceful at night because इसीलिए मैं election के लिए नहीं खड़ा because I can't really get into that dirt shit and promise people shit which I cannot give them because my morals will not allow me to do it. Now, do we have hope? Yes, we do. Do we have a bright future? I guarantee we do. And what you can take from me in writing is that as long as I am there, I will make sure that all these things are brought to everyone's notice like I've been doing since the last so many years I've been there.
Sir, I have a question that sir 2023 एशियन कप के पहले तो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली हमारे इशू रिजॉल्व हो जाएंगे एंड हम खेलेंगे भी वो टूर्नामेंट
भाई कल होना है 2023 नहीं भाई कल होएगा fingers crossed tomorrow so that everything becomes okay
yes sir fingers crossed
can't go for the Asian Cup unless we have friendlies नहीं होंगे प्रैक्टिस के बिना चले जाएंगे तो वहां पे टूकेंगे और हमारे ग्रुप में देखा ना कौन है so please भाई we need it as soon as possible
oh sorry sir I'm forgetting हमारे ग्रुप में कौन सी टीम्स है मैंने लिस्ट देखा नहीं बहुत टाइम से
अंडर 20 में पता है कौन है हमारे
No, I was talking about the senior tournament. उसका तो अभी आया नहीं है
नहीं उसका नहीं आया अंडर 20 में हमारे ग्रुप में कौन है पता है
नो सर वो बहुत टाइम पहले देखा था भूल गया
आई थिंक इट्स इराक एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड यूएई
हाँ इराक और ये याद थी ऑस्ट्रेलिया याद नहीं थी मेरे को मगर हाँ इराक है
ऑस्ट्रेलिया भी है यूएई भी है सो हाउ मच टाइम डू यू थिंक द कोच नीड्स विद द बॉयज 5 days 10 days or bloody 1 year
long time
सर और अभी जो अंडर 17 वुमेन्स टीम है उनके जो वर्ल्ड कप खेलने वाले हैं उनके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा होगा उनको यही नहीं पता अभी तक वर्ल्ड कप शुरू होने से 1.5 महीने पहले कि हम वर्ल्ड कप खेलेंगे कि नहीं तो एकदम एंड पे
भाई उनको नहीं डोंट वरी उनको नहीं किसी भी वर्ल्ड कप टीम को नहीं पता कि वो ये इंडिया में खेल रहे हैं कि नहीं खेल रहे हैं
हाँ वो तो ठीक है मगर उनको ये तो पता है कि वो लोग कहीं ना कहीं वर्ल्ड कप खेलेंगे मगर इंडिया को तो ये भी
अगर इंडिया में नहीं खेलेंगे तो
माइंडसेट
एंट्री नहीं मिलेगी
माइंडसेट नहीं रहेगा वो
See, that is what I'm saying. We should be qualifying for World Cups instead of getting into them by hosting them, man. Okay? फिर अपनी कंट्रीज में आके हम हारते हैं और
बॉयज
फिर
में भी
हमारी
हमने ऐसा ही खेला था अंडर 17 में हमने, क्योंकि हम होस्ट
एग्जैक्टली
नेशन थे, नहीं तो हमें उधर भी चांस नहीं मिलता था।
एग्जैक्टली सो इसीलिए गिरा था. सो वी नीड टू क्वालिफाई फॉर दिस ऑन आवर ओन मेरिट मैन. Getting World Cups here and then coming last in it, how's that development of football in any way? So
Yes, sir.
अगर ये लड़कियों को ये 6 साल से ये वर्ल्ड कप इनको 4 साल पहले मिल गया था. अगर मैं प्रेसिडेंट होता 4 साल पहले मैंने 1000 लड़कियां सेलेक्ट करनी थी 13 साल की, और फिर अगले साल उनको 500 करना था, उसके अगले साल 200, उसके अगले साल 100, और इस साल 50 और इसके बाद 35. फिर बनता वर्ल्ड कप स्क्वाड. इन्होंने क्या किया, 6 महीने पहले तो सिलेक्शन शुरू की है. क्या करेंगे हम, 20 करोड़ खर्च करेंगे इन पे, क्या करोगे उसके बाद, हम इनको 20 कंट्रीज भेजेंगे. भेज दो, 6 महीने में थोड़ा एक्सपोजर मिलता है. एक्सपोजर इज डूइंग इट एवरी सिंगल ईयर वंस, नॉट के 20 टीम्स टुगेदर इन 1 ईयर. So this is again, who doesn't care about the Indian under 17 World Cup team? FSD Reliance. How is it going to bother them? उनकी ISL की लड़कियां थोड़ा है. So understand that is why at the top we need somebody who is so patriotic that he can get over all these distractions and pressure of big companies like FSDL Reliance or the government or anyone else, and only think on one thing: how do I get my country to the World Cup? How do I start? Okay, 2034 mein hai, so I work backwards. If I have to be there, then in 2030 in the Asian Cup, I have to qualify. So for that to qualify there, in 2030, that means 2028, I should have a good team. 28 में जो टीम क्वालिफाई कराएगी उन एज का बच्चा क्या होएगा, इस टाइम पे 16 साल का है, तो 16 साल के कौन से 1000 बच्चे इनको इकट्ठे करें. That is how you plan for 10-15 years ahead.
एग्जैक्टली
Yes, sir.
सर मैंने आपका एक और देखा था सर, व्हाट इज मीना कप सर?
So MENA Cup is a competition in which has held in Dubai, जिसमें सारी academies from all over the world, all continents आती हैं. It's the second time it happened. So we had even that Wolves in the under. So even by the way, Reliance Foundation भी गया था इसी के लिए. And they came fourth in their under 16. They went for the under 16 and they came fourth. Wolves भी गया था इसमें, English team. Strumgrass, the Austrian Champions League team, वो भी गया था. ब्राजील से एक पैल्मेरोस आई थी, इंडोनेशिया का चैंपियन आया था, तंजानिया का चैंपियन आया था, और इंडिया की मिनर्वा एकेडमी गई थी.
आई थिंक सर का नेटवर्क थोड़ा डाउन हुआ. सर विल रिजॉइन. तो आप लोग भी कमेंट्स में सर जल्दी से क्वेश्चन पूछ लो, तो फिर जल्दी एंड करेंगे. नेटवर्क डाउन हुआ. आ रही है वैशाली सर, उनका नेटवर्क डाउन हो गया. और सबसे पहले तो सभी का धन्यवाद यार, आप लोगों ने 5 के बहुत ही जल्दी हमारा करवा दिया. एक दिन के अंदर 4 कैसे 5 के, एक काफी इमोशनल मोमेंट है यार ये मेरे लिए, क्योंकि याद है अभी भी वो दिमाग में वही चलता है जब चैनल हमारा टर्मिनेट हुआ था. उसके बाद
फरवरी में हुआ था ना, फरवरी में हुआ था ना भैया.
Thank you to each and everyone who are viewing right now, and who have supported us throughout, because of you, each and every person who have subscribed to our channel, we have reached to this stage, and we promise you that we'll give you such kind of content always.
Thank you guys, thank you so much. मेरी बैटरी खत्म हो गई कंप्यूटर. We had a long 2-hour conversation. I've loved being here. Thank you so much guys. Jai Hind. By the way, MENA Cup की बात हो रही थी. We are going to MENA Cup again, March, April. We'll be taking on those countries. And I ask you, please go and see our old MENA Cup highlights. You are able to thrash people like Barcelona 5-0. Why can't we Indians win the World Cup? We definitely can. Jai Hind.
Yes sir, thank you sir. और आप हमारे साथ और भी शो करना सर in futures.
Definitely, I love to do it. It's just been a breeze going through 2 hours. Love you.
Thank you
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
हाँ वैशाली आप कंटिन्यू.
हाँ, मैं वही कह रही थी कि
Thank you,
आप
sir.
सब लोगों का शुक्रिया जिन्होंने हमारी चैनल को सब्सक्राइब किया, एंड वी प्रॉमिस यू दैट विल ब्रिंग यू सच मोर कंटेंट, एंड कीप सपोर्टिंग अस एंड वी वोंट डिसअपॉइंट यू. दैट्स व्हाट वी कैन प्रॉमिस.
और एक और मैं बता देता हूँ डिसीजन, क्योंकि शायद हम जल्दी वेबसाइट भी लॉन्च करेंगे. अगर किसी को मतलब हमारे लिए आर्टिकल लिखना है या कुछ करना है तो आप प्लीज़ हमारे साथ जुड़ सकते हो. और अभी स्पोर्ट्स विद ब्रोस को और भी बढ़ाना है, काफी कुछ करना है, जल्दी लॉन्च होगा क्योंकि हमने 5K रखा था, 5K अगर हो जाते हैं तो वेबसाइट भी लॉन्च करना है हमारा। तो काफी और भी प्लेयर्स के इंटरव्यू आएंगे और काफी मजा आया इस सेशन में, और इसका सेलिब्रेशन बनता है, हम सब स्पोर्ट्स विद ब्रोस के जितने मेंबर है, विचार भाई भी सेलिब्रेशन जरूर करेंगे।
हो सके तो कल केक भी काटेंगे,
आप सबका फेवरेट।
और आप एड्रेस भेज सकते हो सौम्या को, सबके पास आपको जोमेटो या स्विगी कर देगा सौम्या भाई, तो
ठीक है, भेज दो।
And thank you everyone who have
तो मैं
tuned in for this particular session. आप सबके comments हमने पढ़े. Thank you so much for all your support.
थैंक यू एवरीवन, तो मिलते हैं अगले सेशन में, तब तक के लिए जय हिंद, जय भारत।
जय भारत, थैंक यू।